Some people might have a little rock and roll pneumonia.
You wanted the best, you got the best from my home studio on Long Island, New York. Welcome to Ian Scotto Rocks. I am your host, Ian Scotto. Mötley Crüe is teasing out something very special for the 40th anniversary of Theater of Pain. Now, Theater of Pain, a lot of fans don't like. The band admittedly doesn't like, if you've ever read the dirt. I am in the minority here when I will tell you Theater of Pain is my favorite Mötley Crüe album. Part of it has to do with, I guess, that I am unapologetically a hair metal fan, and Theater of Pain is very much a hair metal album, which is why I always say that hair metal is more than just about when it came out or a fashion or any of that or trends. There's a certain sound to it. It's like these celebratory anthems. There are some heavy guitars, but as I remember Nikki Sixx saying, like, he digs music that you could dance to, and he was never into the thrash metal bands, ironically, as I'm wearing a very thrash metal shirt. That was never his thing. So I've heard him say that he never considered Mötley Crüe a metal band, and they're not. They're a hair metal band, which is different than metal, as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, what they've teased out, they now put out this full YouTube video showing exactly what they're putting out for the 40th anniversary of Theater of Pain, which we'll get into. I'm sure for many of you watching, I know my demographics, swings a little bit older. You're like, where did 40 years go? And it even makes me feel old, even though the album came out before I was born. When I got into Mötley Crüe, this album was about 17 years old, and it's weird. Culture just moved at such a faster pace that when you watch those music videos, it was from a whole nother time period, right? But it wasn't that old at that time. But now, I've gotten older, we've all gotten older, and 40 years have gone by. I can't play the music in this video because I don't want to be demonetized. Every now and again, I do a video that gets demonetized, so it's on mute. But here's what they teased out, and I'll give you some commentary for this very special 40th anniversary deluxe box set on vinyl. Theater of Pain. There we go. I'm doing the commentary. 40th anniversary limited edition deluxe vinyl box set. They got to use me on the voiceover, right? Just looks like a cool case right there. You got the studded leather belt, and they're going to break down exactly what's on here. So let's pause. The Studio LP, original Theater of Pain studio album, newly remastered with reimagined artwork pressed on color vinyl. I'll get into it, but they've remastered this CD many times. I mean, how different is it going to sound? How many times do you need to remaster it? We'll talk about that. And you got it on, okay, I'm going to pause. I'm going to go back there, actually. So you got it on the color vinyl. If you're someone who's into collecting that stuff with, like, the splattered color vinyl, you're getting that. Looks pretty damn cool. And then you got here the Demos LP, a single LP collection of rare Theater of Pain demos pressed on color vinyl. I believe we've heard these before. I think like anything from the studio that there could have been out there is out there at this point. I'm pretty sure because there's been so many editions of these albums. But if you've never heard it, it's pretty cool. But one thing I will say is Mötley Crüe's demos have always been really rough if you listen to them. If you've listened to any of the remastered editions they've put out with demos, you listen back and you go, man, without the help of Tom Orman or in the later stuff, without the help of Bob Rock, I don't think these would have been hits. It's very different than if you listen to Winger, for example, put out a CD, a double disc of their demos, and they later put it out on vinyl. I have the double disc, very rare to find, but I have that. And when you listen to those demos, you go, this sounds just about as good as what you heard on the album, and they just needed to polish it a little bit. Like, they really worked hard on those demos, and Kip just always sounded great. Vince always needed a little bit more studio production to sound great, but it was really, like, those are really, like, scratch mixes of those songs. So when you hear them, you'll be like, this is kind of rough, just truthfully from my perspective. And once again, this is on a splattered color vinyl. If that's your thing, you'll dig it. Okay, here's what we got next. The double LP live album, Okay, so this is finally something we've never heard, because they're saying we've never heard it. Previously, never before released, live concert from the Westwood One radio broadcast vault, Long Beach, California, 1985, pressed on color vinyl. Now, that's cool. That's like something where Kiss does their Off the Soundboard series. That's what this seems like. That's something people would like to hear, because there's very little we haven't heard before. So if this is an Off the Soundboard mix of a live show from that time, I dig it. Once again, I'm going to pause. Double disc, splattered, vinyl, looks cool. And then you got, look at this, the book. 76-page hardcover photo book featuring many never-before-published images from the Theater of Pain tour. I am a sucker for a good coffee table book. I mean, you look right here. And like a good hardcover like this Metallica, I'll be honest, I have never read this cover to cover because there's so much in here. But you just like, will go to a page. I mean, this isn't just pictures. They did a really good job with this back to the front book. So there's so much to be seen here. I am a total sucker for that type of thing. If it's like a solid hardcover like this. And hopefully some commentary from the band about that time, although they'll say there was a lot of drugs going on and they don't remember everything from that time. You know, and I have other coffee table books here on the table. I have this 1993 that Glassjaw did. This is a soft cover, and this is more of a photo book. And this actually did read, because there's not as much to read. But this was pretty cool. And on the other hand, like Deftones recently put this out with the new album, and this was a little bit more disappointing in terms of the quality, because this is more like a magazine print. I was hoping something, I didn't expect to get a hardcover thing like Metallica did, but something more like the soft cover Glassjaw behind me. All right, and I think that is everything you're going to get with this vinyl collection. Pretty damn cool if you're a Theater of Pain fan, like I certainly am. And it looks like there's going to be some cool stuff that we've never seen before. November 14th is when it's coming out. Now, look, I'm a CD guy. I think the vinyl really appeals to you if you're someone who truthfully owns a home, which it'd be a whole nother discussion. Very few people in my age demographic own a home. It's hard to transport all that stuff. Even with my CDs, which are a little bit easier to transport, those are all at my parents' house, other than what I keep here and some of my box sets over here. You know, more and more people are doing the digital thing, but there are people even much younger than me getting into vinyl. If they put this out on CD and it's a reasonable price, I would go for it. I saw some of the comments on YouTube that, you know, breaking balls that were like, even though we had negative things to say about this album, go pay like $300 for this now. And that is the that is the negative of being so brutally honest in a book like The Dirt. Now, for me, I thought it was a tremendous album. But as I said, Mötley Crüe have put out so many versions of this stuff already. And if you don't know about these, the Music to Crash Your Car 2 box sets, like this had all I need in terms of that stuff. Pretty cool how it separates like this. But it was, you know, obviously there was supposed to be a third one, and it's been many, many years. We're talking, I think, over 20 years since the last one, and we still have not seen a volume 3 for whatever reason. But like you got a cool booklet over here highlighting that era. So now I have that. And then you've got this cool snakeskin case, and you've got all the demos. And so a lot of this stuff we own already. And some people are going to say, how many times do you need to rebuy the same thing? I get it, but there's a new fan base, and there's probably people who just want this on vinyl. I think they should do a CD as well. Why not even do a cassette? In a way, and some people are going to disagree with me, I think this is what the Mötley Crüe legacy should be. They have this cool site up called the Crüeseum, where you get to see like a digital archive of everything they've done. It's a digital museum. And then they also have limited edition prints you could buy. And I like that. Kiss has done the best job with this, as you know. And Kiss has gone above and beyond with having like their mini golf in Las Vegas. And I know people will say it's a cash grab, but it keeps the legacy alive. It keeps it fresh to a new set of fans who want to buy merchandise and who want to relive this stuff maybe on vinyl like their parents did in some cases, maybe even their grandparents at this point when it's 40 years old. But, I've been critical of the performances lately, and I think they could still be making money off the brand. I don't see a problem with that, but I don't want to see them go out the way they have in terms of the live performance. And as I've said before, that has nothing to do with age, because there are bands of that era still doing it. I mean, just an example, like Faster Pussycat, although you only have one original member, and they're a much smaller band, every time I see them, they put on a killer show, and I never feel like Tammy is not into it, and I do feel that way. Let's be honest, more so with Vince. But this is cool. You know what I would like to see in addition to something like this, though? Put out some new, maybe Blu-ray footage and put it out on YouTube. Maybe you don't want to do that because it won't make as much money doing what we do here. But speaking about making these albums, I know there was a lot of drugs going on at the Theater of Pain time, and I don't think they have the best relationship with Tom Werman after dissing him a number of times. But I bet Tom would have some great insight into recording this album, and many of us are fans of this album. Start to finish, I love just about everything on here, and at some point, I'll do a Mötley Crüe album ranking like I did with Kiss. But yeah, I would like to see something like that. You know who does a great job with that is if you go to Bruce Kulick's YouTube channel, anytime there's a major anniversary for a Kiss album he was on, something like Crazy Nights, he'll talk about what that album meant to him, what the tour meant to him, what the recording process was like. That's stuff we would like to see more so than a remaster of a remaster of, if we've heard it all before, whatever. But Coffee Table Book, that looks really cool, and probably photos we've never seen from what they're saying, and a live concert from that era. So there is fresh stuff that you're never going to, that you haven't been exposed to yet, I should say. And I like to see that. Let me know your thoughts on Theater of Pain as an album. Are you like me? Do you love the album? Or are you like them, all of whom have dissed the album, yet are putting out this box set? Is it a cash grab? Yeah, I'm sure they're going to make plenty of cash off of it, but there are people like me who want to celebrate 40 years of, in my opinion, a classic album, Theater of Pain. If you want to watch more Mötley Crüe commentary from me, click right here on this video next to my head. Be sure to like the video. After you click like, click that hype button. That helps us out. And be sure to subscribe for more only on Ian Scotto Rocks.